Hey everybody, it's Astro D, making learning astrology real simple and easy, keeping it cute and simple like a dimple. I'm here hanging out with Marvin Gaye today. Yes, this was a piece done by me. And what I'm here to do today, though, is to talk about solar returns. Yes, today is my solar return. And I'm not making no big, huge announcement about this, but I really want to talk about how you can utilize, your birthday to tell you how the rest of this year is going to be. And this is called a solar return chart. What is a solar return, Astro D? What are you talking about? So some people will say to you, instead of saying happy birthday, they'll say happy solar return. Happy, okay, you know that part, what that part means. Happy, the sun, okay, your birth, basically we go by sun sign horoscopes. When somebody says, what's your sign? And you go, I'm a Taurus, or I'm a Gemini, or so on and so forth. So that's your sun sign, right? So it's the sun returning to the same spot that it was when you were born. It's real simple, right? And they call that the solar return. Now, on that day, what happens that day? It's almost like a new birthday. You could call it like a resurrection of the self. Okay, this is the time when you feel extra rejuvenated. The sun is rejuvenating itself, kind of thing. And they take a snapshot of what is going on that day, and they use it to predict the rest of your year. Pretty much a solar return chart. Okay, so solar return charts, this is where we get a little tricky with it. With the solar return chart, you have to compare it to your original chart as well, and that'll also give you an idea. So that's basically, a yearly return chart. Now, I'm Astro D. You can follow me at AstroDee5 stars on Instagram, and you can get a solar return chart done with me if you'd like. But for me to explain that a little bit more, you can actually see, what are the events going on this year. So the first way you want to interpret a solar return chart is look at what is the ascendant of this solar return chart. What is the ascendant? Because that is going to tell you what is the theme, what is the most important part of this year, right? And then you want to look at what house the sun is going to be in. It's always going to be in the same sign, Taurus or Gemini, or whatever your sun sign is. But what house is it going to be in? This is that theme. This is where you're going to be. This is where you're going to have most of your energy at. And then you're going to look at how does this compare to my actual birth natal chart. So let me break it down. Let's say let's say Aries is in your fifth house, right? And Aries is, in your fifth house, Aries, you're having a good time. The fifth house is where we have our children, whatever issues are going there. Let's say Mars is there. Okay, so Mars in your fifth house in Aries. And I know somebody that has that. Mars in the fifth house in Aries. So you look at your solar return chart. Yay, it's happy birthday to me. Okay, great. So you're going to look at your solar return chart. So you natally have Mars and Aries in the fifth house. And you look, boom, wow, on my solar return chart, Aries is my ascendant. So your fifth house has come to the forefront of your life for that year. All right. So that year is where you're going to be dealing with a lot of fifth house issues. And natally, how is your fifth house? What is the condition of your fifth house? That will tell you how that year is going to be because it's coming to your fifth house. You also want to look at all of the different areas. You want to look at your sixth house. All right. What has come to the sixth house from your natal chart? So let's say, I don't know, let's say that you have Taurus in your fourth house, okay? And then let's say you look on your solar return and you have Taurus being in the sixth house, right? So what does that mean? That means wherever Taurus is in your chart, which is the fourth house therefore comes to your sixth house. So therefore, that means you are working from home maybe this year. Maybe this year, a lot of your work, a lot of your home issues may come to the job that you're going to have to deal with. So this is how you just interpret it at a very small level. You want to see, do you have a Libra ascendant solar return? During these solar returns, a lot of times, love comes in, concerns of the other. We may feel dependent more on other people. Sometimes with the solar return chart, we can have, our first house now coming to our ascendant, our eighth house You know, the issues of death, issues of finance and debt are finally coming to the surface that we're going to have to deal with all year. So this is what, you know, I love to check out my solar return chart, and it's nice to look at it about 3 months before your birthday. Because 3 months before your birthday, this is when it starts to kind of get kicking in. Starts to get kicking in. But the month before your birthday, make sure you take it easy. Make sure you relax. This is like your rejuvenating time. This is the time that it's like, you know, you're about to run a race. This is the night before. Because you know how boxers, before they have the fight night, they're not doing nothing. They're not supposed to. They're not supposed to be having sex. They're not supposed to go out partying. They're not supposed to be drinking. This is the night before the fight. All right. And they got to get in the zone. So it's kind of similar, you know, just before your birthday, make sure you're keeping it real low key and you're taking care of yourself and you're preparing, you're reflecting, right? These months, you shouldn't necessarily start anything brand new the month before your birthday or the months proceeding to your birthday. Keep it real light because you're about to rejuvenate for this next coming year, this next new year, your personal new year that's coming up. Right? So don't party, don't drink too much. You know, sometimes they say people get sick a lot the month before their birthday. They try to, you know, it's a tough month for some people, for some, you know, dealing with things. But I like to use it as a preparation time. I definitely like to use that. You know, what you're doing on your birthday, how you're handling these energies on your solar return chart, that does dictate the rest of your year. It can. You know, so make sure you're doing what you want to do, whatever it is, as long as it makes you happy and it makes you comfortable and smile, make sure you're doing that during your birthday. So if you have, hopefully you should have a better understanding of what a solar return is. The sun returning back to its original spot it was when you were born, and a snapshot taken of that is a solar return chart. I'm going to call it solar return. It's a solar return chart, right? And you can use that to predict how your year is by comparing it to your basic natal chart. So I hope I broke that down real easy, cute and simple like a dimple. That's how I do. All right, it's Astro D. Make sure you're following me at AstroDeE5. And yes, happy birthday to me. And you know, I never get it. You know, birthdays are only special to the person that has the birthday. You know, unless it's your mama or, you know, most of the time, you know, I'm just it's good to be thankful that your friends are alive and that they're there. So thank you for the happy birthdays I've received. And I'm glad that you're happy I was born. I'm happy I was born. You know what I'm saying? On this day, it was a Sunday. All right, y'all. So anyway, take care. Have a great week.